Good morning, everyone. Today is the 22nd of July. My name is Anne-Marie Band, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. What we are looking at is a SPY that's bouncing. So there's a gap here. This is the close of Friday. This is pre-market action today. And it looks a bit like a relief bounce coming off of the lows around this edge near 548. Now, my thought was the 551 break, which is this motion right here, would bring us to a 50% retracement that would collide with the volume point of control and the relative VWAP. And so what we are seeing is a bounce in front of that. Now, if we take a look at the breakaway formation, we can notice that, hey, listen, things are moving upward, of course. We are in a buy the dip event. And so what I'm going to do is draw a trend line that hooks the last three tests. And you can see that this broke the trend line. So the immediate event is, can I fill in the volume profile here into 555.50? This is the second area of a lot of volume at the 556 zone. So what is the thought? The thought is we bounce into potentially 553 to 555.50, and then the market gives back a little bit and we continue to head down. This is the 50 exponential moving average. We could use a 50 simple. It might not be a little bit, but this is the range that we're looking at. Again, we use a moving average just to give us directional strength, not a specific number, all right? The value area low currently for what it is that I'm looking at is somewhere around 541. And so my thought is that the bounce action should be around 541 to maybe 542, 543. So we've got about $2 of squish here. What is the framework today? It is buy the dip, okay? Look at what our tight formations are giving us. Oops, no, let me move this down just a bit. Our tight formations are giving us, sorry folks, tight formations are giving us a buy the dip event. You can see this dotted line is the close of the VWAP on Friday at around 550. We're bouncing off of this edge. This is another value area high, and that is at 552. My thought is we go really all the way to 555. See this thin volume pocket? That's really what we're going to fill in, right? We're going to fill in this volume pocket. My thought is we're going to do that, right? Trend in the near term is down. People who have continued to short are going to be on the back foot, and they're going to buy to get out of the formation, and that literally could take us all the way up to 556.27. Let's go to the Qs. The Qs should be bouncing pretty hard, and they are. Notice where it pulls back, right? We just had a bit of news that popped it all the way down right into the point of control, or the POC, and now we are into Friday's closing. Now, that's Thursday's closing VWAP, right? Where is this chart going? Well, it had a lot of downward price action, and so there's probably going to be a lot of shorting that's going to have to get back on track and up into the resistance zones. This is another area near 483, all the way up to 485, 486. Buy the dip in progress. The pullbacks into 476 will make a nice buy, but if we get up over 480 and hold it, it's going to be an upward pressure event all the way into 484 and such, right? That will take us into, let's see, Wednesday's VWAP close. So that's what we're looking at in the Qs. I do not see lower lows coming today. I suspect we're going to have a bottoming formation here. The pullbacks for ideal buying are going to be down here at the 474.50-ish area to 474.80. That's going to give us heavy congestion, a lot of buying nice clean zone if you want to look for a buy spot that's going to give us a double bottom event. All right, on the daily formation, look at what's happening. It came all the way into the 50 exponential, bouncing just shy of it, all the way to the bottom of the congestion box. There is a pocket of thin volume below, all the way down to 465. I would not be surprised to see us eventually get there, but we'll see. Today, it is a buy the dip formation. That dip ideal at around the 474 to 475 area, and then the test of 486 on the horizon. All right, I would look for higher lows to go long. Let's take a look at the ES. All right, here we are with the daily formation. Of course, you know these charts are by Trend Spider. We've got the bounce coming. Look at the heavy congestion right here, right? This heavy congestion zone gives us an ideal bounce. I did not change these from pre-market on Friday. And so here we are on Monday doing a very nice bounce. We're still on the inside of Friday's candlestick. All right, that's very important to note. So the first thing I expect is round at about the 5604 area, we've run into sellers. That means buyers who have bought the dip and they're going to try and get out a little bit early. And new sellers that come in and go, listen, I'm going to sell the bounce. Now, the bounce could go all the way to 5630, at which point that should be an ideal rejection zone, old support, new resistance after the fade. So that zone is going to be ideal for the short if it comes. If not, then the 5604 would be the second ideal shorting event from that space. Give yourself maybe 3-4 points, probably, yeah, 3-4 points, because if it holds there, it's going to go up to the 2930 in my mind. Now, because it's an inside formation, we do have to figure out what's going on. The value area, point of control, you can see that's all the way down at 5520 into 5496 for value area low and the overall VWAP of this giant formation that we are looking at. Again, my suspicion is that we bounce, chop around for a bit, and then fade one more time in a clean filling in of the volume events that we need to look through. I could be wrong, and I will be wrong as long as we do not break down below 55.50, at which point, if we do, we'll clean up another 50 points to the downside. All right, it is a buy the dip formation because we are above the close of the prior day, creeping into the open of the prior day, which also happens to be the high. And so that's going to be very interesting for us to look through. All right, here we are, same sort of thing. Dip buying here in the formation, pre-market long action right into this 19,900. Are they going to try and recapture 20,000? You betcha. You betcha. They are going to try and do it. Here's the thing. Tech has had a really sharp fade, and so if the algorithms get on top of this, it could run all the way back up to 20,500, no problem at all. What do I want to see? This is a dip buying event. The top of the candlestick from Friday will be the place the shorts try to pile in. So if we get up to 19,989, and we don't get up over that area, the shorts going to give us more traction, and that traction is going to give us more short action into the value area low around 19,500. Okay, I expect a little bit of sideways action, but in general, you know, slosh. Just look on the edges for your best trades, okay? Dip buying clearly in force, but look at what happened the last time we were around here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days sitting in this range. So it's a buy the dip, 19,700 or so, best bet. If you want to jump on the rally here, remember there are going to be a ton of sellers waiting at that 19,980 zone, okay? And when we blow out through the top, you know we can move as much as 35 points in the NQ before things rotate downward. I don't know what is going on with that. Let's go to the YM2. All right. This one doing the same thing. right? We don't have our lines up here simply because I don't know what's going on with this thing. But we can clearly see that it's in a rotation downward inside of the range of Friday. So the bounce action into 41,374 could bring in sellers. If they hold, it's 41,635. If they lose the edge, old resistance, new support, could bring us down into 40,625. That's what we're looking at from this perspective with the YM. Pullbacks are buy zones. Clearly, there's not as strong of a bounce in the YM the way there is in the NQ or the ES. So we've got to be very careful around this 40,000 number, because if it fades, it's got another 300 points to the downside. All right, but buyers should show up there, should in open quotations. Let's take a look at oil. All right, absolutely fantastic. You know, my thought is that oil would most definitely come in. Now, here's the big picture here. If we take a peek at this chart, and maybe this is a Trump move, right? Now, here's why. When he was in office last, he had a lot of pro drilling whatevers, and oil came all the way back in because he promoted energy. Now, that's actually going to be a good thing, folks. So, you know, we could see this in all kinds of places, but right now, here we are breaking down, and if we move into these lower edges, we should bounce off of this zone, right? I have a zone here. Ooh, it's Fibonacci. If we move it down just a little, we can see that there's all kinds of price action possible down at the 77.50 area. If we come into that area, let it fall through and then bounce, that will be the long in my perspective. However, this does not look good for any kind of real bullish motion until, let's use our handy dandy trend line. Well, let's take an approximate one all the way here. If we move up, we could sort of get this wick. And so that would be 76-ish. And if we choose one that maybe is a little different, that tries to get the deeper wicks, we're looking at around 75, right? At the value area low on the weekly formations. Okay, last thing. Boy, I'm going through all of them today, aren't I? We have gold in a toppy formation. You know, my thought is we are headed to that the 2,500 area. But this sideways motion here says, you know, how about if we come back to 2330 first and then try to do it? Here's the thing. If we come into 2330 and we cannot hold, I believe that we fill in this gap at 2200. Okay, so right now it is sell the bounce because we are below the close of the prior day. So the bounces into 2424, 2430. We sell them. We get 3 points of resistance and get out if it's not working for us. But we should see a pretty nice fade into these lower edges near 2320. All right, folks, that's it. I'll see you on the platforms.